what do we do going forward to deal with the situation that we're confronted with in this country? Where you probably have seen lots of postmortems after this last election as to what's wrong with the Republican Party, what's going on, and the changes we have to make. Obviously, the most oft-repeated charge is that Republicans have focused too much on the social issues and that we have to abandon those issues if we're going to be successful in the future. Or that Republicans, should stop talking about the Constitution and things in the past and just try to focus more on, what we can do for everybody. I think that is a very dangerous course. The Republican Party was founded on a social issue. It was founded on the issue of slavery. It was founded on an issue that said that all life should be respected and given equal dignity under the law. We have always been, as Republicans, on the correct side. Yes, the right side, but the correct side of the great moral issues of the day. Every step of the way, we have been that party that has stuck by those moral principles because we have been a party that has stuck by the founding principles of our country. Yes, our society is changing, and everyone points to all of the demographic changes that have Mitt Romney gotten the percentage of the white vote that he did in this election, and the election were held in 2000, he would have won. But the demographics of this country are changing, and according to the pundits, so must we. Well, I disagree with that. I think we have to do some things to change. But there's certain things we can't change. And those founding principles are those. We must stay by the concepts that were enumerated by our founders. That our rights come to us from God. That we are a country under God with God-given rights. Is this country less God-centered or less full of more people who believe in God, who don't believe in God? Yes. Is that a problem for this country long term? I believe yes, it is. But that doesn't mean we need to abandon that. What we need to do is to do our part, not just in politics, but in other aspects of our lives, to help transform this country. The biggest problem I've had with the discussion that so far among Republicans is that we're focusing just on politics. I can tell you, having spent 16 years in Washington, D.C., I'll give you two observations. Number one, there are very few leaders in Washington. There are a lot of followers in Washington. Very few congressmen, senators, and presidents, and this president is different in that regard, to his credit in some respects, even though I don't like what he's doing. He's willing to lead. He's willing to get out in front, in some cases way out in front of the American public, and do his best to bring them along. And he's used the power of the presidency and the power that comes with having a press that supports him, and he's been able to manipulate and get things accomplished as a result. But very few members of Congress and very few presidents actually lead. And if they do, they're just right out ahead of the pack. They don't want to separate themselves too much. So what does that tell you? What that tells you is the second observation, that politics is downstream from our culture. What goes on in Washington is a reflection of America. It does not lead America. And so when you talk about getting involved in doing things politically, understand that if you really want to have the biggest impact, is what we have to do in our own lives, in our own families, in our own churches, in our own communities. We have to engage as citizens with those eternal truths that we all share. We have to tell people in this country who we are. One of the great blessings from our campaign is that I would go around, and did it here in Missouri, did it everywhere, and talked about the Constitution, the Declaration, our founding principles, who we are, what made America the great country. I was amazed as I campaigned and as later on would go to college campuses and the like, and the response I would get, particularly from young people, is, I've never heard that before.